Hi, I am relatively new to CKC. My name is Mary Rowling. I'm a project manager at CKC Consulting. Really happy to be here with you guys to talk about process mapping, which I very much enjoy. I'm very analytical like that. So to get started, let's just go around and do some introductions. So I'll start. My name's Mary Rowling. Hello. And I am actually out of the Fort Worth area in Texas. And also, let's also share what's one of your most important processes. For me, one of my favorite processes is our new client process. It's really helpful to start, setting up reminders for like, oh, the contract's coming up and getting all your client information in so that you can kind of just focus on the work and working with the client versus getting all that housekeeping stuff out of the way. So then I don't have to worry about it because I have serious mom brain sometimes and definitely forget some stuff. So having that process out of the way is one of my favorites. I'll just kind of go and I list. Denise, would you like to start?
Hi, everybody. My name is Denise Yancey, and I'm in Alaska with ATNA, one of the Alaska Native corporations. And we do environmental, construction, professional services, and now telecom a little bit. But my favorite process, I would say, I like entering new opportunities into the system. It's kind of nice and tidy, and I almost squeeze that RFP to get every little bit of information I can so that it's usable and helpful to the people who are going to be working in it. I mean, of course, there's stuff that I don't know and I won't ever know, but at least I can do what I can with the RFP, and it fills in the blanks. I like the blanks being filled in.
Yeah, it's nice to have all that information in one place too. Especially with some RPs have just so much data in it. So
yeah.
Awesome. Natalie?
I'm Natalie Praise. I am from Kraus Anderson Construction Company out of Minneapolis. I guess I would agree with Denise. Opportunities are kind of my favorite, but I kind of like it from the start to the end because it kind of takes a village, right? The proposal people are putting in some stuff after the fact, like downloading their RFP but yeah, you have ownership in it, you add it, you know it, and you're knowledgeable to other people and business units. So I agree with you, Denise.
Andy?
Okay. Hello, I'm Andy Cohen. I work for Micon General Contractors in Dallas, and I've been here about 5 months. And so I'm still working on processes, but I just worked with Courtney Vance this week on setting up my own little dashboard, my maintenance dashboard, so I can just have my reports in there and I can work on getting them all to be empty. So when I open my dashboard, there's nothing there, which will never happen. But I just, it's like I would pull reports and they would have so many fields and it would just be kind of overwhelming. So she helped talk me and, talk me down from there to where my reports are now very simple and only 1 or 2 fields that I need to fill. Sorry, there's a gnat in here. Oh, I got it. Okay, good. We have a gnat problem in this office and I think they follow me. So I do shower daily, so I don't know why that is. But anyway,
you need to get a gecko.
Really one of my favorite processes is having that dashboard available and able to add my own reports in there. And so I can just make sure I keep everything clean and up to date.
Courtney's very helpful.
She is very helpful. Yes.
Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie Byers. I'm with Pinnacle Architecture out of Bend, Oregon. I've been with them for 6 months now, but been working in CoCentral as a CRM for what feels like decades. And I would say I agree with you, Denise. My favorite thing is kind of milking that RFP to get all that information into CoCentral, and that seems to be so much easier than trying to get information from the project team, right? So, yeah, that's where I shine.
Awesome. Anna?
Yeah, sorry, I can't get my video to, I don't know why it's not working. I'm Anna Crabtree. I work for Satterfield and Ponticus Construction in Houston. I just started June of last year. They just created the position of CRM and had just purchased Dynamics. So I kind of have created the whole system and just getting 30 years of information into it. So it's been a pretty big job, and I'm also doing proposals, and it's actually, I think, helping a lot with seeing what we actually need in CRM. So that right now is what I'm really enjoying, actually, getting to know all aspects of that.
Yeah, process mapping will definitely make you rethink, like, oh, wait a minute, either why am I doing this, or oh, this is missing. It definitely
Yes.
brings that to light.
Yes.
Awesome. Adria, I think I said that right. Sorry.
Hey, there we are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, great. Well, that just, Adria Klein, I'm from Robbins and Morton, and we are a construction company. We've been using the CRM for maybe 18, 12, 15 years, maybe, before I got here, but I've been working in it now going on 6 years, and process mapping is my whole focus now. I'm the asset coordinator, so everything revolves around all the data and all the reporting and outputs, and we've got great support there. So keeping minimal amount of data updates available for all of our executives, and that sales reporting is like my #1 focus and goals. And we got good feedback the other day. The comment was minimal cleanup, and so that is a great compliment in the strides that where everything is going. Just keeping everything complete and full is the best that we can. And we have put that focus into the process mapping of where is it coming and what can we integrate, and keeping those maintenance reports going timely.
Awesome. I see we have 6 other attendees. If you guys want to join in on the talk, feel free to accept that panelist invite. It's like the only way we can do it because this is like a Zoom webinar. That's how it functions. No need to if you don't want to, but it is there.
Did Erica talk?
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Erica. Please go. Thank you so much, Denise.
I forgot myself. Me? I feel included. Thank you. Hi, I'm Erica Curtis. I'm the marketing communications specialist with CKC. I am in Portland, Oregon. It's nice to have another Oregonian on the call. That's awesome. Let's see, my favorite process right now, or the process that I'm focused on right now, is I am gonna map out how we plan events. We do a few different type of events like this one here, and I've noticed that some of the tasks have kind of potentially multiple owners, and so I need to get that down on paper so that I can see like who is actually doing what and things don't fall through the cracks.
Erica, I'm in Portland too, so we're neighbors.
Oh, you are awesome.
Maybe you could meet for coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool. Well, to just kind of get into it, we talked about some of the ones process mapping that we like, but what are some things that you guys have been struggling with process mapping? Have you had trouble with getting people on board with your processes, or struggling with just getting them written down? And what are some of y'all's thoughts on that?
Yeah, getting people on board is my #1 issue. And I can't help. I mean, I should help myself, but it's part of my job, but I can't help it, but I will enter stuff for them when they ask or when they don't do it. So I know I'm enabling them, but on the other hand, if I don't do it, it doesn't get in and I don't know what to do about it. And my boss knows about it and he's trying to do something about it, but it needs to come from the top.
Yeah, definitely leadership buy-in is very important because if they don't, if like your higher ups don't care, then other employees won't. It'd be difficult to get that. Does anyone have any tips or hacks that they've found that have been helpful in that?
I know one thing for us is we do the kind of our learning and development, and we have that open so that anyone can, whether they just started or even a follow-up, offer that to everyone. So our buy-in is pretty good, actually. Our leadership does do a great job supporting it. Like I said, they also are utilizing everything and trusting that one source from the sales data. And I think that that's been a big help. But really offering up those learning segments have been really helpful, and getting everybody to get a chance to go through and learn more. And then also just to communicate the needs, that maybe those areas where like it helps those projects or different areas that's a focus. And so that's one of the things that we do now is we just kind of keep in touch and follow up with everybody, but still put that request back in from them, or say, hey, do you have a user login? Can I help you with that? And just kind of keep it going from that entry standpoint.
I can't speak to my current role. I have that same struggle, Denise. So, and the way I've come into this firm, it's set up in a way that only I can put the information in. And that's one of the struggles I'm having right now. But in a previous life, I found a lot of success working with the management team, the senior leader team. We created a project number in BST for business development updates. And then
That's a good idea.
the PM or the principal, because it was divided, it was an engineering firm, it's divided into teams. So the principals who manage the workload of their engineering teams or the PM teams, they would allot a certain number of hours, like 1 hour a week or 0.5 hours a week in the engineer's schedule to make updates, so that they didn't feel like they were having to do it above and beyond their tasks they already had.
That's a great idea.
That's a good
I wrote it
idea.
down.
It worked really well. Our database was like on point at that point. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, especially that I really like that, putting it on their calendar, like planning, like here, we're put aside this time. So it's not like, oh, it's something else I have to do. It's already set aside. That's really helpful. So once you have your process, how often do you review it? Have you guys gone through and, I don't know, maybe every quarter, every couple quarters, sit down and be like, where are we bottlenecking? Where are we running out? We need to adjust. Do you guys have how often do you guys review your processes?
I have a quick question, just backing up a little bit. How do people like map your processes? Like on a piece of paper, do you write it out? Do you have like a Word document that everybody has access to? Like, how do you review it in a way that like you can visually look at it and see what the process is?
Sure. I particularly like using like Lucid chart or like a flow chart for certain things. Obviously, you can't go through every single process like that because it would just be really cumbersome. But when you just take some paper and write out how you're going through and you just put out the steps one by one, it kind of helps illuminate those, see what's missing within that process, that, oh, okay, I'm not getting the project managers to put in this certain data after they've had this project. At some point, maybe having them put it in at a different point, or while they're going through the project, having them go in and put so and so data at this point in their process, so you can like look at it back that way. I think it's awesome, great to have it visually for like new hires. If they come in and they might not know what exactly you want to, they might not know exactly how your processes work at your firm just yet. And so having that visually for them to review will definitely help them kind of get to what data is valuable and stuff like that. And probably putting it somewhere on your server where everyone has access to it. So if accounting was wondering like, oh, why are they asking us to do this and this process, they can go and review it and be like, oh, okay, so that's the reason why. So it's not as meaningless to them, if that makes sense. Those are just some of my thoughts. Does anyone else have anything to share on that? What they do?
I don't have anything that I do, but I think I am going to, so I haven't really, since I started, sat down and asked if we have a published process. I know there's a process in my boss's mind because she's been spearheading this whole thing for a long time. But we did just realize the other day that like, so we have an FTC with Spectrum with our accounting and HR system. And I'm noticing that less and less fields are coming out or being filled in. And I'm not getting like resumes and things from HR when we get new hires, which I need to put in previous, all that stuff. So, we're going to have to like regroup with them because there have been some changes in employee changes and in that team. So I think what's happening is, we told the team that has left since what we needed and why, and then the new team does, and then that's not communicated when a new person's trained. So I think we do need to start reviewing the process regularly and maybe even create for HR and accounting a process so that they will know. And anytime someone new starts, we can say, look, this is why we're asking you for this information. It may not be important to you, but it is important to us. So, because I know I don't like to do things unless I understand the why behind it. So so obviously that would probably benefit all of us to start doing that. So thank you for that.
I would even go to put your why on your process map itself, like on the document, so that it's like set in stone. It's like, I have it in writing. This is why.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I
I
like
was
to
just
do that
going-
too. Oh,
And I
sorry.
was just going to point out on the C. Kearney on your example of that of y'all's workflow and process flow. There's one out there. If everybody hasn't seen that, that is really great. It's very visual and
Haven't
very
seen it.
busy and fun, but it does give you a great resource to look at as far as like, oh yes, this is how we want everything to where's our data flow? What does it look like? So I rather enjoyed that piece. And then kind of studied it and started thinking about where we were as a company. We initially were kind of departmentalized. So everything was this department was, process. This one was, and everybody had their own kind of processes. And then now we started looking at can we start tying everyone in? What are we, missing? And then our steps would be just to, we outlined everything kind of what made sense if it was that project piece, starting from the estimate and the job number, what's that job, what's the flow of a project, what's the flow of our costs, with our FDC connectors, what are we, what are we capturing automatically, what that process looks like, and then what is manual and so forth. So outlining it in words, just a great start, just to kind of hit those high points. And then we've mapped it out in InDesign, layouts, or in Flow as well. That's another application that has been used.
Oh, using InDesign, that's smart. I mean, it seems so simple because, like, you know, you're using it all the time anyways, and it's very customizable too. So that's definitely a good thought. And also where you're saying about manual processes, you can see what could be automated. Sorry, Molly, I just saw your message that you guys use a lot of workflows and putting flow charts into place. I definitely think those are really helpful because, especially in this day and age, there's so much technology and stuff you can use. Like, you don't need to be like manually sending a set of data. You can, if you need something to be sent to accounting, there's probably some sort of workflow or automation in place that will just, once it hits a certain stage, it just sends what you need. So yeah, that's definitely a good point. Does anyone else use any other tools for their process mapping? Or flowcharts, or I know some people use PowerPoint. It's not my favorite in my opinion. It could be a little bit better, but it definitely is functional. So here's another question for you guys. What processes can't you live without? Like, you need this process in your life to be able to do your everyday work. Do you guys have anything specific like that you'd want to share? Or do you think someone would be helpful?
Personally would like to eliminate a few of my processes.
That's fair.
That's one of our biggest keys right now is just working on streamlining. But I will say that just really communicating with our departments has been a major focus, and we're finding, like, one of the things that I use is our job startup form, and the PM will put all the information, and that's from the accounting side. They own that form, but they send it over to us, and I use that as a direct input, you know, for all of my project updates and what's going on for the projects themselves. And so in a sense, they could take that information and put it into Uninet, but in return, it's kind of hitting those two departments and whoever else may need that in their other ways. But that's one of the things I can't live without right now, because that's how I'm getting my information. Even though it's still a manual entry for me, it's like kind of like already done, and then I redo it. That's one of the things we're working on, trying to eliminate and hopefully automate in some way as we move forward in our data warehousing.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't get around it.
I mean,
and as
I've
long as you
tried.
get that reliable data, you gotta do what you gotta do until it gets to where
at least we have
you
it. That's
have
what I
it.
say. At least we have it. So
Mhm.
a good reference point.
Well, I think,
Yeah, and go ahead, Andy.
I think some of the things that
Um,
we can't live without is what others can't live without, that now it's become the source of truth. So like sales forecasting for us, this or the sales that we count every month is absolutely comes out of Co-Essential. And when you don't have stuff updated, like dates and dollars, it's not on us, it's on you. And so now it's become, they took a long time, right? This is reliable, this is where you go to. So I think for me, those things that I can't live without are the stuff now that others can't live without.
That was kind of how I made my case at a past firm for investing in the FDC between our accounting and our marketing CRM. Was I kind of mapped out or made a list of all the data points that we share with accounting and the amount of time. And I actually like put the amount of time that was spent, because accounting, when I started there, accounting was like forwarding a spreadsheet to marketing, and marketing was hand entering a bunch of data into the database, and it was an engineering firm. So it was a ton of projects, and they were doing all projects, even like $1,000 fee time and material project, or $500 fee staircase review or something. Like, it was nuts. So it was hours a month spent on data entry. And so I I mapped out that time and the time it would save, and then that whatever $2,500 annual fee for the FDC seemed nominal compared to the amount of time of data entry and potential mistakes that were made putting in that new data. And it was like an easy yes from the partners.
Well, that's a good way to get buy-in too, is just having actual data to show them like this could save so much time by
I feel
doing
like
that.
in marketing, that's like the #1 tool, is to like show how many hours it takes and then like take your actual salary and tell them this is how much you're paying me to do this, and we could be doing this instead. And I think that like from in my experience, that has gotten me, that's helped me get my way a lot more.
It also
That's very
justifies your
smart.
position. I think the hardest thing I have with process right now is the closing process to get, because once it's closed, and when we say closed, I mean it's closed in finance too. It's absolutely closed. It's like they're not interested in that project anymore. They're on to the next one. And so they don't want to write a project description. They don't want to say who actually was involved and what they did on the job and all these other things for the closing process that would be invaluable later. But over and over again, we ask them to do these forms and they just don't do them.
When do you ask them to do the forms? Is it like after everything's already closed out?
Yes. Otherwise, it's not closed.
Fair point. Yeah, I used to struggle with that with a previous firm as well. Getting that one of the ways I would explain it is that, would you prefer me to bug you about it now when you're in the middle of a really big project and deliverables, or take the time while it's fresh on your brain to get it all out there to where we can just go and get the information and then it's all good?
And
Like
actually,
sometimes like
the closing
that's the
form
best
is available to them throughout the whole project. They don't have to wait until the end of the project. I mean, they could be writing the project descriptions as they go.
Yeah, I was gonna just mention that. That's one of our processes. We use a template in our publisher and we have the publisher form. And so initially, once the job is entered and start at the start of the job, so the opportunity is converted to a project, we enter, update the job project. And then we initially send the publisher form there, which is essentially the exact same thing as my closeout form. And that publisher form will give me, I would say, probably about 60% of the, the main information. And I usually can capture, and I just, if I'm missing that information, if it didn't come up from the opportunity, then I just highlight it on there really quick. It's like already set up. So it's just a process of just sending it to them. Once you just, create the document and send it over. But I do get about 60% more complete data if I was trying to give it a number, because I do follow back up with them at least one more point before the completion date's over. And then if I'm still missing that last data point, I specifically, and I have found, if I just literally put it within the email and not within the form and say, I need just this, then I'll get the answer back. So that's taken kind of, I guess it's last year that's been our process of just really touching base 3 times along the way, I would say. And it's worked out better to get that overall, that like what you were saying, because before it was the same way for us. We were begging to get that completed data. So it is better now. That might be an easier start. And you can set up like a quick template in your email and Outlook, and then just attach that form real easily. And it's really just a couple clicks. I think that would be helpful since you're having to do so much of that piece too.
Thank you.
Yeah, hope it
Yeah,
helps.
Molly had just mentioned also in the chat, having a workflow to trigger at 25%, 50, and 90% complete to like nudge them and like remind them to, so that it's not like one and done touch point. That's a great idea, Molly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that same thing as Molly. That has worked really well for me in the past, just because it's hard to remember. It's nice to have the workflow to remind you.
Well, it looks like we are at time. Thank you guys so much for being here and sharing all your wonderful ideas. happy to see you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so
all.
much for your time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You guys
Bye.
are amazing. We're doing really important work. We really are for these companies.
Mhm.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.